Welcome back, everyone. Today we're unpacking one of the biggest stories to hit MotoGP this season. Marc Márquez has suffered a heavy crash at the French Grand Prix, and the fallout is far more serious than it first appeared. Beyond the dramatic tumble itself, a major hidden issue with his shoulder has finally come to light. In this deep dive, we'll walk through exactly how the crash unfolded, the full extent of his injuries, why he had already quietly arranged surgery before the weekend even began, and whether he still has any realistic path back into the 2026 title fight. Stay with me until the end. There are some eye-opening details in the middle of this one that change how we see his entire season so far. Let's start at the beginning. During the sprint race at Le Mans on Saturday, May 9th, Marquez was running strongly in 7th place, battling hard and very much in the mix. Then, on the second-to-last lap, heading into the tricky raccordement corner, his Ducati suddenly snapped away from him in spectacular fashion. This wasn't a simple low-side slide. It was a proper high-side crash, one of the most violent and dangerous moments you can experience in MotoGP. For anyone unfamiliar, a high side happens when the rear tire suddenly loses traction, then regains it almost instantly. The bike violently snaps upright, launching the rider high into the air before they come crashing back down onto the track surface. At racing speeds, the forces involved are brutal. Marquez caught one at full commitment mid-race, and the consequences were immediate. He was withdrawn from the rest of the event after being declared unfit to continue. Medical checks quickly confirmed a fracture in his right foot, not just bruising or a heavy impact, but a clear break. That same evening he flew back to Madrid, with surgery already lined up for the following morning. As a direct result, he has also been ruled out of his home Grand Prix in Barcelona the following weekend. Missing your home race in front of passionate Spanish fans is a bitter pill for any rider, especially one like Marquez. Now let's talk about the bigger picture for the championship. Even before this latest incident, Marquez was already trailing championship leader Marco Bezzecchi by 51 points. In MotoGP, a maximum race win delivers 25 points, so closing a gap that size requires near-perfect results while your rival falters, something that rarely happens at this level. With 2 races now off the table, Le Mans and Barcelona, potentially another 50 points could disappear into the ether. That pushes the deficit into territory that would require something close to a miracle for him to defend his crown. Yet this is Marc Márquez we're talking about. The same rider who has competed with a shoulder barely held together, who has defied medical expectations time and again, and who has built a legendary career on sheer willpower. It's far too early to count him out completely. But hear what has really set tongues wagging across the paddock: the revelation that came right after the crash. Marquez admitted he had already scheduled surgery on his right shoulder well before the Le Mans weekend. The operation had been planned for after the Barcelona round. In his own words to DAZN, "I already had an operation scheduled for after Catalonia on my right shoulder. That was one of the reasons I was taking it easy. I knew I could fall at any moment." This directly contradicts the confident, "everything's fine" message he had been putting out publicly for months. The problems he revealed started becoming obvious after Jerez. "After Jerez, I realized something wasn't right," he explained. Medical scans showed that while the shoulder was structurally okay, one infamous screw from a previous surgery had shifted position. It was now pressing directly against the radial nerve in his arm. The sensation was bizarre. At home he felt normal, but on the bike, especially when pushing hard, the nerve interference caused inconsistency, strange feelings in his hand, and sudden mistakes. That rogue screw was the hidden culprit behind the uncharacteristic errors, the surprise crashes, and the sense that he wasn't quite his usual dominant self this year. It wasn't a question of lost talent or poor form. It was a mechanical object inside his body disrupting the vital nerve signals between brain and throttle hand. The planned shoulder procedure is relatively straightforward: open the area and remove the troublesome screw, nothing overly complicated. Because he's already sitting out Barcelona, both the foot surgery and the shoulder operation have now been combined for the same day this coming Monday. 2 procedures, 1 session. The positive side is that neither surgery is especially complex or invasive. If healing progresses well, Marquez could potentially return sooner than many fear. And once that interfering screw is gone, the hope is that he'll regain full, clean feeling in his arm and shoulder. That could unlock a sharper, more confident version of Marquez, one who can trust his inputs again and stop second-guessing every corner because of weird nerve signals. Even so, the maths of the championship remains harsh. A gap that was already significant before Le Mans could easily stretch beyond 100 points once you factor in the missed races. In today's ultra-competitive MotoGP, that's an enormous mountain to climb. Still, with many rounds left and the unpredictable nature of racing, one major incident or a strong run of form could shift momentum. question many fans are asking is why Marquez kept the shoulder problem hidden for so long. There are several likely reasons. Psychologically, showing weakness can invite rivals to attack more aggressively. There are also team and medical confidentiality aspects to consider in the paddock. But above all, this is simply classic Marquez. His whole career has been defined by riding through pain and adversity that would sideline most others. He has returned from crashes on the same day, competed when many doctors advised against it, and pushed his body far beyond normal limits. Keeping injuries private isn't a tactical choice for him, it's simply how he operates. It may not always be the healthiest long-term approach, but it's a big part of what makes him the phenomenon he is. So where does this leave us? Marquez is facing a broken foot, a shoulder that's finally getting proper attention, at least 2 missed races and a hefty points deficit. On the other hand, the surgeries are manageable, recovery is already underway, and the season is still far from over. This is a rider who has made a career out of defying the odds. Now I want to hear from you. Once he's back and fully recovered, do you believe Marquez can still mount a serious challenge in the second half of 2026, or has the title slipped away this year? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments. I read them all, and the best discussions might even shape the next video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Ride safe.